If you read the original Peter Pan book as a child, you would never want to live in Neverland. In the Disney movie, Peter is portrayed as a forgetful but good-natured boy who's loyal to his friends, but in the book, he's a psychopathic dictator with no empathy whatsoever. His little gang, called the Lost Boys, are more like his prisoners, like they can only eat when Peter says they can, and sometimes he doesn't even feed them real food. He'll boil air in a pot, serve it on a plate, and stuff his face with his imagination while the rest of the kids have to play along or risk being punished, even if they're starving. That's not always a bad thing though, because Peter also assigns them tree holes to sleep in, and if they're too fat or too lumpy, he does some things to alter their shape. In other words, missing a random meal helped them avoid being carved up by Peter. But let's not forget the golden rule: no growing up. Whenever someone dares to mature, Peter quietly takes them aside and kills them.
All right, we're still continuing on with the information on Africa and some of the names and who's behind some of the sayings of what Africa means. So, Akibalan is the oldest name of Africa. 10 other things you didn't know. This article is from weafrique.com, weafrique.com. And you can also find this through other websites as well. So you can see where it lists Africa, and it says Eden underneath the word Africa. You have Ham, Chim, and this is a map. It says the ancient world here in the middle, right here, folks, just reading what's on the map here. Let's take a look at some things here. Let's scroll down. Akilan is known to be the oldest name for the continent Africa. From Arabic interpretation, it is known as the land of the blacks. The word black is a High German word and is not an ancient word. You can look up the meaning of black in association with the German language. And is in history of Africa by Sheikh Anta Diop. It's known as the land of the blacks also in the history of Africa by Sheikh Anta Diop. He translated the meaning of Akibalan to mean Mother of Mankind, or Garden of Eden. Sheikh Anta Diop is who translated this to mean Mother of Mankind or Garden of Eden. The name was arguably the first name used by Africans for Africans before the coming of the name Africa, according to several schools of thought. It is the most indigenous name used by the first set of indigenous blacks to represent who they are and where they came from before the Romans and the ancient Greeks coined and gave the continent the new name Africa. Although Akibalan isn't the only name used by the indigenous peoples to refer to themselves, it was and is the most common, okay? And that is from weafrique.com. Let me show you something else real quick here. Let's go into Sheikh Anta Diop. And I'm only using this resource here because, like I said before, you can click on other words and it will take you to other links. So it's kind of easier to present more information quickly. Only reason why I'm using this source. But you can confirm Sheikh Anta Diop and all over the internet. It's going to give you the same story. So they're not misrepresenting because it's from a certain source. They're not misrepresenting anything. Sheikh Anta Diop. December 29th, 1923. What did I tell you about the 1920s and the 1900s? To February 1986 was Senegalese historian, anthropologist, physicist, and politician who studied the human race origins and the pre-colonial African culture. Okay, Diop's work was considered a foundation to the theory of Afrocentricity, the theory of Afrocentricity, though he himself never described himself as an Afrocentrist. See how they've even placed a name on him. But these questions he posed about cultural bias and scientific research contributed greatly to the post-colonial turn in the study of African civilizations.
To hear. And let's say he got 200 on the ship. 200 times the 30 days plus supplies. How many ships would he need to bring 100 million niggas over here to North America?
All right. I believe I actually
Mathematics.
Yeah.
Math don't lie.
yeah. Okay.
So if we did the mathematics, there's no way that story can fan out. Two, black people have always been in North America.
That's what I just
There has never been a time when the black man was not on the shores of North America.
Okay. Now, who are you calling the black man on the shores of North America? Who particularly?
Who am I calling the black? Hey, Reggie, I know you didn't.
Answer me.
Me.
Okay. No, we're talking about at the time that when you.
I've been hearing this for a long time, and then I started asking people, yeah, we have been here, and that elder had the school, this brother right here. I always see them on 125th Street, but yeah, I've always known that we've been here. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment on what you think. Big Hawk, Street News, I'm out.
Oh, they have Sheikh Anta Diop University, formerly known as University of Dakar, in Dakar, Senegal. The university is named after him. Let's see where he studied at. Didn't take far to find this. Studies in Paris. Studies in Paris. Studies in Paris. Let's go down. In 1946, at the age of 23, 1946, Diop went to Paris to study. There was another reset going on in 1945. This was during one of the world wars with Germany, and they were resetting information and changing history and documents also. And from 1940 to 1950, they were doing another reset with history and information. Everything they told you about Germany was a lie, and some other places too. At the age of 23, Diop went to Paris to study. He initially enrolled to study higher mathematics, but he enrolled to study philosophy in the Faculty of Arts at the University of Paris. University of Paris. It was the leading university in Paris, France. From it says 1150, which is BS, to 1870. The leading university in Paris. Where do you get that bread from? All right, he gained his first degree in philosophy in 1948. Then enrolled in faculty science, receiving 2 diplomas in chemistry in 1950. Let's see who he studied under. Who did he study under? Let's see who his teachers were. Okay, according to Diop's own account, his education in Paris included history, of course, Egyptology. In Egyptology, the term Egyptology is used basically to hide information on the ancient world. That's the code name to hide information on the ancient world, is Egyptology. Physics, linguistics, anthropology, economics, and sociology. It says right here, he studied under Andre Ayard, was a Frenchman, French historian, specializing in ancient Greece. Studied under a Frenchman. Who else he studied under? He was a student of Gaston Bouchard. Who was Gaston Bouchard? Was a French philosopher. He made contributions in the field of, looks like it says poetics and the philosophy of science. Right? And studied under this gentleman. He looked like one of Charles Darwin's homies. He studied under who? Oh, Jean-Frédéric Jean Crew was a French chemistry. Received a 1956 Nobel Peace Prize in chemistry. Studied under another Frenchman. He's not. Where's the Africans that he studied under from Africa? Where they at? Andre Leon Gouchard. That's another Frenchman. This is who he studied under. Remember when I told you that the origins of the Pan Africanist philosophy was out of Europe? Going back to the very first Pan African convention held in London. All right, let's talk about this. 1954, these thesis, Diop argued that ancient Egypt had been populated by black people. He specified that he used the terms Negro, black, white, and race as immediate givens. And it says in the Burgonian sense, he went to suggest this is someone else's theory. Who was this? Another white man. Henry Louis Bergast was a French philosopher. I think we may have covered that earlier. But anyway, that's just the background on when you go back to people talk about, no, it means the Garden of Eden. It means the ancient world. No, that all came from Sheikh Anta Diop. And I just told you where Sheikh Anta Diop went to school and studied. It was after he came out of school when he wrote his books on things African. He was from Africa, from Senegal. All right? In 1948, Diop edited with, here's another name, Madeleine Rossi. Let's see who that is. A professor of history. Not even showing you a picture of, they don't even want to show you a picture of Madeleine Rossi. Guaranteed you she was somebody elite. A professor of art history, special edition of the journal Moussi Vaillant, published the association popular aims to Desmus Apam had set up in 1936 by people on the political left wing to bring culture to wider audiences. Didn't even show you a picture of her. She's probably related to the fucking Rothschilds. Let me see right here, 1946. The Culture, Future of African Thought, under the directions of Professor, mentions that guy again. He was, here's another name. What is this? In 1951, he registered a second thesis titled, Who Were the Pre-Dynastic Egyptians under Professor Marcel Grauly. Grauly was a French author and anthropologist known for studies of the Dogon people of West Africa. He worked together with two other Frenchmen on the African subjects. His publications number over 170 books. And these are all white Europeans from Europe that directed some black people under them to tell you that you're all from Africa. They even moved Egypt out of, they even moved the real Egypt, They even hid the origins of the real ancient Egypt as well, because it's in Americas. So there's some information on Sheikh Anta Diop and the origins of the word Akibalan. Al-Kibalan has another meaning. We may get into that later on if we have time. There it is, people. We have more people to dive into. We've got a whole list of names of people to look up to show you, the founders of Pan-Africanism.